What's going on, Skid? The complaint is this eye is not getting as hot as the others while it's on high. Now I already did all the work, I'm going to save you the time, but this one got bright orange on high and this one didn't get bright orange. So I'm going to change out this is called a range infinite switch. We're going to have to turn the breaker off, pull the oven out, and change this out, see if it works. That's usually the issue. Just make sure you turn the breaker off. The old stove is some super high voltage. As you can see, the clock is off, so the power is off. Just take these screws out on this model anyway. If you have a different model than GE, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to take all these screws out. I'll be back. Alright, once you get all the screws out, this should just come out of here. There we go. Had to put a little muscle on that one. Now when these switches go bad, they'll usually expose themselves. As you can see, it's got some black burn mark up in there, right up in here. That's how you know it's bad. Not always. They don't always do that, but usually they do in my experience. And make sure you get the right switch. As you can see, this one has a red dot. There's a purple dot. So we got to make sure we got the right switch on here. We got to get this egg salad out of here. Put in a good one. All right, new switch is wired in. Tighten up the two little screws. Try not to lose them. And your switch has a little notch on it. You'll see once you look in there, a little notch rides right along inside of that notch there. Right along the rail. Sometimes you gotta fiddle with it. Make sure it's the right way. All right, let's go turn the breaker on and hopefully sparks don't fly. We're gonna kill the lights too. Make sure the element turns bright orange. That's what the other one didn't do. It didn't turn orange like the other 8-inch stove I did. Ugh. If it turns bright orange, we're a success. I think it will. I'll be back. I'm gonna let it do its thing. All right, as you can see, it's orange. Couldn't do that on the other one. It wouldn't get there. And that was the initial complaint. So let's split open this bad one real quick, see what's on the inside. Alright, Skid, got the cover back on the back. Got the oven pushed back into place. Reset the clock, because I had to turn the breaker off. Here's the inside. Nothing too much in there. I mean, you can see the crisp, a little burn there in the corners. Looks like a little bad connection on these copper things. Trying to get in there close to keep the focus. I don't know. Nothing too major. You can just see it's a little crispy. Maybe the connection got loose. I don't know. That's what the inside looks like. It's like a little wheel. Here's the front handle that the knob goes on. Nothing too bad in there, but that is burned. Alright guys, what's going on, Skid? We got us a no cooling call. The on-call guy couldn't figure it out. He said the downstairs unit's not coming on. They got it set to off with the fan on. As you can see, the on-call guy had to put in a window unit last night. Said the outside unit wasn't coming on. Let's go turn it on and see what's happening. Now let's check the breaker first. Breaker's tripped, man. Let's go check the hard start. Maybe it's low. Poor on-call guy had to lug that window unit up 3 flights of stairs. Usually when you turn the breaker back on with these hard starts, it'll usually give you one more just to get you through. Yeah, these are these little units with the rotary compressors. So they take hard starts from the factory. Come from the factory with a hard start in it. Not a fan of the rotary compressor, but I didn't build the place. lot of these guys in the comment section think I built the place from scratch. It's like, man, I didn't put this stuff out here. So yeah, this is the hard start from the factory, and that capacitor is wrong. They all have to be 45s. He said he put in a new capacitor, but that's wrong. Get the old meter out, see what's going on. I got the breaker off upstairs, but I'm just going to check for voltage, make sure it's dead. No volts. We're good. Now I gotta take these wires off this hard start and put my meter on microfarads to test it, just like you would test a capacitor. When this hard start goes low, it'll trip the breaker upstairs. So let's see here, meter to microfarads. I got a new field piece. You guys are used to seeing the let's see here, there we go. Used to seeing my Craftsman meter. So this should be way over 88 microfarads. 19, yikes, that's why I tripped the breaker. Usually they're around 120. This one's at 19. And the on-call guy put on the wrong capacitor as well. I'm sure this is a 35. It's not gonna work, it's gotta be a 45. All of these Goodman rotary compressors take 45 microfarads. So I'm just going to take this out, put it back in the shop, and grab a 45. Here's the old shop. A lot of guys ask, do a shop tour. I'll give you one real quick. It's basic like all the other shops. Light bulbs, filters, key machine. Got the old Ryobi chop saw. Oh my God. Oh, he uses Ryobi. Oh my God, I can't believe it. I thought he was a professional. This is our HVAC shelf here. This is a 45 that I need. This little HVAC shelf. Got our torches, nitrogen, extra window unit. Little shop tour. Looks like all the other shops. And I just remembered I needed a hard start. This is the kind I use. 521 compressor saver. Put that baby on, that'll get it going. That's the complaint. On-call guy said he couldn't get the outside unit going. Alright, got the capacitor out. This thing is still new. As you can see, it's a 35. That is wrong. Got to put a 45 in there. I'm sure that's what was in there. Not sure why he did that. A lot of guys panic out here on call. So I'll wire that up. I'm sure you know how to do a capacitor by now with all the capacitor videos on YouTube. That's about the last thing YouTube needs, is another capacitor video. Alright, I got the new hard start in and the new 45/5 capacitor. So we'll just wire it up now. Purple to common, yellow to Herm, red to common. Man, poor guy lugged this thing up last night over this old heavy window unit. I prefer to fix it, man. I don't want to lug that heavy thing up there. Brown to fan, red to common. And this is coming off of the hard start. The black goes on the common side of the contactor down here. And the yellow from the hard start goes up here on the Herm. And that should do it. I'll go turn the system on. That's why it wasn't coming on for the guy. One, the breaker was tripped because the hard start was low, If he would have put the right capacitor on, it might have gave him a little juice and got him through the night. Who knows? All right, we'll turn the breaker back on. Come on, big money, no whammy. Okay. Go see if the outside unit comes on. Oh, breaker tripped again. Dang it. All right, Broseph. I've been running up and down the stairs trying to figure this out. The breaker keeps tripping. As soon as I throw it, boom, breaks. It trips, I mean. So I got the compressor unhooked. I unhooked the wires downstairs. I just want the fan to come on the condenser. When the fan comes on, that way I know it's the compressor or something else. But, oh, okay, here we go. It's staying now, so I think we got a bad compressor. Alright, fan's running. As you can see, I disconnected the compressor. Can't touch it because power going to it. But yellow and the common and the red, unhook it off the contactor. Little trick for you new guys to see if it's the compressor. So looks like I'm gonna have to change out a compressor. Yeah, here's a look at those infamous rotary compressors that I'm talking about. Doesn't look like a Copeland scroll for sure. It's got the little accumulator right here. All this is one piece. This is one compressor. It doesn't come separately. All comes together. It's gonna need to be replaced. There's no burnt wires or anything. These things are junk. I got my meter set to continuity so you can hear the beep. There's supposed to be continuity between these. It's supposed to beep. It's not beeping. That's how I know it's bad. Tripping the breaker immediately. It's ohming out at 0 as well. Open line. Run to the shop and grab a new one and replace the compressor. These are pretty easy though, because the liquid and suction line are on top here, as you can see. So you just sweat it off and pull it up, pop the new one in, push it down, sweat it back on. Alright, here's my new one here. Got the meter set to continuity. Remember, we got no continuity on any of the terminals at the old one. That's how you know it's bad. If it don't beep, this one's beeping on all of them. Trying to do this with one hand here. Everybody says get a GoPro, but the GoPro sound is just yeah. So I'm gonna recover the Freon. There's thousands of YouTube videos on how to do that. Just for the sake of this being a not 2-hour video, I'm gonna get right to the meat and just the brazing and putting it in. Alright, refrigerant is out. About to start taking the old one out. This is for the YouTube police, just to show that I'm flowing nitrogen. Got the ball of air going. YouTube police, don't give me a ticket. Going in and coming out the yellow here. So I'm about to spark up, take that one out. 4 bolts. Take the bolts out, then you can just pick the compressor right up and pop the new one back in. Do that all the way around. Alright, there's the old rotary compressor. Definitely not my favorite. Copeland scroll is a little better, I guess. As you can see, the accumulator comes with it. This all comes as one. Now I'm gonna pop the new one back in, bolt it down, braze it up. Alright, new one's bolted in. I use that wet rag. It's kind of like Play-Doh just to protect the wiring terminals over here. Pull these caps out and then get to brazing and give it a sanding before I pull the caps out. I don't want none of that gunk getting down in there, the shavings. Going to heat up the liquid and vapor line just to push it down in there good. Then I'll hit it with the braze stick. Don't have to be pretty. I'm not out here for beauty points. As long as it don't leak, big dog. Alright, Skid, got the gauges hooked up. I'm gonna do a nitrogen test, and if the braze holds, then we're good. Some guys ask where I learned all this. Man, to tell you the truth, I just dove in. You know, I watched long videos on YouTube, those long ones that take you step by step, and just came out here and figured it out. Never went to trade school or anything. Just dive in, man. I was nervous, I was scared, hands all shaking, but you finally just get over it. Just dive in. You never learn. You can read all the books you want to about swimming and watch all the videos you want to about swimming, but you'll never learn until you dive in. So I'm just going to fill it with nitrogen now, see if it holds. I'll go to about 200 pounds. Make sure I don't hear any hissing or anything. Squirt some bubbles on it. But yeah, but guys, I just dove in. I get that question a lot. Where'd you learn all this stuff? Just diving in. Nervous, gassy stomach, you know, because you're all nervous. Pressure test. Sorry, I was yelling at the coworker there. He's all looking at me like, what's taking so long? So far, so good. So far, so good. All right, it's been holding here at 200 for about 20 minutes, and I bubbled the brazes, no bubbles. So I'm just gonna dump the nitrogen. You can just dump it. Dump the nitrogen. Put the wires on the compressor. I'll put the wires on the compressor while I'm pulling a vacuum. So just dump the nitrogen and then I'll hook the vacuum pump up. Alright, got the vacuum hooked up. Again guys, this is just the Cliff's Notes, alright? I mean, it'd be a 4-hour video if I went through every little thing. But just get out there and figure it out if you're interested in doing it. That's what I did. So I'm gonna get this thing down to 500 microns, 300 if it goes down quick. Got my micron gauge hooked here to the where the yellow hose goes, plugs in at the top. These testos are pretty cool. Open everything up. Now I'll go to the micron gauge. That's it right there. It'll get going here in a second. I'll be back. All right, slowly coming down. 3,000 microns, 2,000, 2,900, 28. So when that gets to around 500, I know I'm good and vacuumed out. Then I'll bring the system to positive pressure and fire it up. So when it's vacuuming, I go take my lunch, eat my butt hair sandwich. Then when I come back, it's usually ready or close. So I'll be back. All right, while we're pulling a vacuum, let's put the wires back on. This red goes to the R for run. It's labeled on up top here. It's labeled on top. R for run, S for start winding, and C for common. So the red goes to the run. And then the yellow goes to the start. That goes on your capacitor as well. Capacitor's like a heart defibrillator. Gives it a jolt. And then this black here goes to the common. And then we'll put the cover on and screw it down. Top is nice and snug. Alright, vacuum's done. After you vacuum it down to 500 microns, just hook up your tank. Close all the valves. Just hook your tank up regularly. As you can see, it's in negative pressure. With the system off, we're just going to bring it up to positive pressure. Let me bleed my line here. None of the valves are open yet. Just want to get the air out of this yellow line. There we go. Now we can bring the system to positive pressure. Again, it's still in negative pressure because of the vacuum. Can't turn the system on yet, and I go through the liquid line, the red line, when I do this. You don't want to turn the system on with it in a vacuum, so you got to bring it up to positive pressure. Then I'll put the disconnect in and get a good subcool, because this is a TXV, so we got to charge by subcool. All I'm going to do is bring it up to positive pressure. I'll be back. Alright, we're up to positive pressure. It's equalizing out. 174 low side, 187 high side. It's going to equal out. I'm going to turn the system on now. Come on, big money, no whammy. As long as we hear a compressor, we should be alright. Oh yeah. Listen to the beauty. Breaker staying on. All right. Now we just got to get a good subcool. Bring the subcool to about 12. That's where we put them all around here, around 12-ish. So I'm gonna fill it till it gets there. Again, guys, this is the Cliff's Notes. The only way to really know is just to get the basics and get in there and figure it out. You'll have your own system. And I'm not perfect, but we get it done around here. We don't have to call contractors, and hopefully the company passes the savings on to me, you know what I mean? I try to be the best version of myself. Alright, it's gonna take a little bit. I'll be back. Alright, skid, new compressor. Good charge, subcool. It's at 17. Let's see how cold we're blowing out. 49, 48, 47, coming on down. Now I know this isn't a real thing, it's Supertex, but it's better than sticking my hand up there. I get a lot of comments, oh, that's not there. Okay, I get it, but it gives me an idea of where I'm at here, but we're good. Blowing cold as a witch's booty. Back compressor, popping the breaker, new compressor. Good to go, on to the next adventure.
That's just the way it's got to be. Well, a concrete jungle